Hello again. Here we are again in the Pup in the Life, and I'm just trying to get to the cats of the neighborhood, but they don't like me as much. So just playing, poking around. I'm very happy for the day. And barking, lots of energies, because mom is actually at home, and so we've been doing things together today. Not so many, but I like having her around, and I prefer that so much rather than just being by myself, just like any other dog. Anyways, the topic of the podcast of today is the space and the ability of creating innovation, and the idea that all good things basically have already come out. So mom had this pretty interesting conversation with somebody earlier this week while she was talking, no, actually last week. And this guy was like, well, when I was younger, the web was just like starting out. And so it was a pretty evident moment in which you would just find yourself finding lots of opportunities, working with lots of new things, new technologies, new stuff in general. And that where you could potentially build just one single thing that could make a difference for many other people, maybe like a website, an application of some sort, which was kind of easier to do. And that would potentially change, the trajectory of your life. And we have many such cases in Italy as well, where you would have, at an Italian scale, many entrepreneurs that are now millionaires, or millionaires on paper, but like they have assets for millions, and not say they have millions in the bank, and they've grown their companies to scale ups where they started just like that. And as much as we can feel a bit of frustration around that, just saying that these people were actually lucky to be born in an era with some skills, with some potentially some person that told them, like, you can do this and be useful. You can try this technology. You can, they got a computer or whatever. I think it's pretty bad for us to be just talking about that time and place and think that they had it better, because it's quite easy to do so. But how about technology and progress hasn't stopped because time has gone and still keeps going, and because a big shift like the internet has happened? How about blockchain? And how about artificial intelligence? And I'm talking about tech in general, not related to, for example, medicine. Not talking about science. But if you think about medicine, like, we made such great progresses, for example, in the treatment of cancers. Not all cancers, but like some cancers. The thing is, you might not know because it's not pop. It's not something that it's already has achieved massive scale. And so we don't know. But there is no evidence that we don't produce geniuses anymore. And the thing is, it is pretty hard for the people that, start working now or have started working just like mom in the last 10 years to just be hearing that. We've seen that already. And somehow it's, from a philosophical standpoint, it's a limitation on the ability of dreaming, which is very bad, because it forces you to stop thinking about how you can make changes, and that forces you to just use what's already in place to build what you need. Now, I don't want to get too romantic about this. I'm very aware that we need money, we need resources, we need stuff to build other stuff, and it's not something that everybody can have. that's totally normal and totally understandable. But the thing is, once again, how about just realizing that it doesn't serve nobody to just keep claiming that everything has already been done, that we don't produce geniuses anymore, that, the tide has changed, and that basically all good trains have already left the station. And this thing for a startup entrepreneur, yes, I'm pooping, yeah. This thing for a startup entrepreneur is especially bad because it doesn't help the creation of the ecosystem, and it keeps everyone grounded in what's already there and not what potentially could be there. It doesn't help entrepreneurs in no way, and it doesn't probably even help kids trying to understand which path their career could take. Because if you ask me, I think that mom would just have, if she hadn't been a startup entrepreneur, she hadn't studied economics, she would have probably gone and studied chemistry. And by studying chemistry, she would probably be like a chemical engineer that tries to do shit maybe in the eco space, maybe in the energy space, maybe in some space that helps innovation and fosters innovation and it's more innovative than others. And so it's talking about geniuses means talking about many things that we don't know. But at the same token, just claiming that everything has already been done, that big companies are already there, that potentially everything can be destroyed by these specific companies. And so there's no use for you to just be creating new things. That's pretty bad. And the only ask that I have is trying to understand, who is this thing serving? Because if I were a person, or actually a dog, that believes in, I don't know how to say this in English, in conspirational theories, I would just say this is a theory from the status quo to the status quo. It's a theory that forces us as human beings and dogs as well, just keep behaving at the level that we know we can do. Why? So that nobody else, except for those who dare or know that they can dare, just try and make a difference. But the real deal is that we keep seeing startups making a difference in the ecosystems all over the world and eating up pieces of the pie of bigger companies. Now, then afterwards, do they want to be bought by bigger companies? Well, maybe. It might happen. And there is, to be honest, nothing wrong. At least at a theoretical standpoint, no? So what's key to understand here is that there really are no incentives for most people to just keep saying that, technology is slowed down, whatever. No, not so many good opportunities. Like, we can't invent nothing anymore. Kids know that, and at some point in our lives, we lost the ability, and we lose the ability to understand that we can. The thing now is, it's of course not something that everybody can do, but that at the same time it requires for us to tell a different story, like a way different story. There are many ways in which we can beat established stuff, and many ways in which we can create something new to make our lives better. And as the saying goes, we didn't create AI to create better text, yes, but we did create it to make our lives better. And that's also why we're not going to stop into developing something, because if we do so, bad guys are going to take over. And as Bill Gates has recently said in an interview with Kara Swisher that yes, the bad guys can do it, but we need to create a space and a time in which also the good guys can do it, so they have a way to answer. And that's quite self-evident. But at the same time, somebody has signed something to stop AI to develop. But this is not the point of this podcast. Anyways, This is what there was for the podcast of today. Geniuses are there. They need to be empowered, and especially they need to be taught that they can. And they stop avoiding asking for permission. And maybe they'll say sorry, but we need to make them try. This is all for today. I'm sending you kisses, hugs, and a bit of barks. Follow us. Bye.